Welcome to another episode of Shut Up and Do It Yourself. We got a 94 Jeep Grand Cherokee. This one's been sitting for a couple of years. The previous owner told me that it just stopped working one day, and then just sat since then. I figured it might be the crankshaft positioning sensor. When I started diagnosing it, I was not getting spark. It seemed like that was the issue, and it turned out it was. If you look online, this is a pretty common fault with these 5.2 liter Magnum engines. The crankshaft positioning sensor. See, I'm on the passenger side of the vehicle. So whenever I just replaced it, and I'll show you what it looks like. This is the old one right here, and it was positioned just like this, and it's kind of at an angle. It's kind of like that. But behind the head right here and back over, and the easiest way that I found to get this, I've seen videos where someone put it's a 1/4 inch like Allen drive on a socket, and then they had like a bunch of extensions, and that's good if you can get it in there. You have to use the what size is this? The 1/4 inch drive I found. The because what happens is, you can see right here, see at the base of the exhaust right there, there's that tube. Well, that tube goes like right over the top of where this sensor is back here. So it's not like you can just reach your hand around and you're touching it. You have to go around this hard pipe. It doesn't feel like it's rubber, and that goes over the top of it. So whenever I change this out, I undid these back two spark plugs, zip tied that all up there, and then if you can reach your hand down through the top right here, and if you trace the there's a you can see it jiggling right there. That's the cable, the line for the sensor. You just trace that down to where you can feel it, and you'll feel two little nubs. It's impossible to see actually what you're doing, but if you trace that down to the center, you'll be able to. If it's the original crankshaft positioning sensor, I was able to like really feel it out, because I felt these ridges, and then I felt the nut on top, which, like I said, is a 1/4 inch drive like this. So is this right here, this one right here, 1/4 inch drive, and what I did was I put that in this socket, and to keep it from coming out, I just put a little piece of copper wire. I took a strand of copper wire and just jammed it in there, because you don't want anything falling out, because it's going to get stuck behind the engine, and you're not going to be able to get it. So you want everything, once you like break them loose. I broke them loose with an Allen wrench, and then I used the socket to get it the rest of the way out. Yeah, so if you get one hand, you can go in from the top, and then if you get your other hand, you can go in from the side, and that's how I was able to thread the bolts back in. You're also going to want to take off this heat shield. That was kind of a pain too, because obviously it's going to be corroded because it's on the exhaust manifold. I just hit it with some PB Blaster, and then a little bit of heat. I put the MAP gas on it for a little bit, but be very careful. So I put a little bit of MAP gas on there, heated it up a bit, and then I sprayed it back again with the PB Blaster, and then just be really careful. And I'm charging this battery, it just came undone. Come on. So take the heat shield off, carefully take those bolts out because you don't want to break those off. Like just kind of like loosen a little, tighten it back up, and just kind of like break the threads loose, and don't just try to break them off, because you're just gonna break the heads off the bolts. And it was one bolt and 2 nuts, so just be careful with that. So like I said, I used an Allen wrench to break them loose. I was able to feel and get the Allen wrench into the bolt, and then I used a pair of pliers to break it loose. And then once I got it loose enough, I used the socket to get it the rest of the way. But I mean, if you're patient, you could probably just do it with the Allen key. Also, I noticed there is a difference, and I saw other videos. People also noticed that, like, I think this is OEM and it's thick, and the one I ordered, it's just it's metal and it's much thinner. And I saw someone else like make washers to make sure that the bolts didn't bottom out. I didn't feel like doing that, and I didn't, and it seems to be snug in there, so I don't think that that's an issue. So I was able to spray some starter fluid in it, and I was able to get it to produce spark. But because it had been sitting for so long, the fuel pump is not firing up, so I got to replace that now. But if you have one of these like 93 to 98 Jeep Grand Cherokees, and it's the 5.2 liter, and you're not getting spark, it might be the crankshaft positioning sensor that's bad, and that'll bring that spark back. But it's not the worst thing. You just have to be very patient. Don't expect to get in here and then do this real quick. But now that I've felt where it is, and I was able to get that out, it was very frustrating at first, because it's hard to tell what is actually the sensor. I mean, you can feel where the cord is and trace it back, but you're really just going off feel here. It's really inconvenient where it's placed. Another thing you'll want to do is to remove the coolant reservoir, because then you're able to get your arm like at a better angle this way, get it in there this way, and then you'll be able to get your other hand right here. That's where you're able to get a better angle of it right there, and reach further down and just kind of like feel it out and get it out of there. I'd been delaying this because I knew this was going to be a pain in the ass, and it was, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I was able to do it, and I was able to bring this old Jeep back to life somewhat, and hopefully it'll be running soon. But I just wanted to make a short video and help someone else out, and maybe provide a little bit more information, because I know this is this is not the easiest thing to replace. Like if it was somewhere else, it would be a lot easier, but because they crammed this big engine into this tiny Jeep, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to get back there. I'm sure it's probably easier on like the vans, or even the like the Dodge Ram trucks that have this engine. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, you want to talk about your issues with your Jeep, put in the comments. And shut up and do it yourself, and have a great day. Thanks.